I am still teaching. I just don't teach public classes, but I have taught that yoga teacher certification course continuously since 1993. So it's what, 27 years. I'm 27 years into it. So this is a mini meditation workshop called Not Mindfulness. I'm a huge fan of mindfulness, but there are other options besides mindfulness techniques. So we all know what a timeless meditation practice is, and it could really not be more timely in today's world. So the agenda today, so I'll make a few introductory comments about meditation. I'll explain how to prepare for meditation, first with the breath, then with the heart center. We'll do several practices of meditation. I'll talk about a few practices that we won't do, but I'll talk you through them. Then I'll end up with recommending a few books and retreat centers. So before I forget, just want to remind everybody here who's collecting hours toward 200-hour and 500-hour yoga teacher certification. I am honoring anything you do with Lama this weekend. What I need you to do is send me via email the total number of hours that you're collecting for the next few days. So if you'll send it to my email address, Lex-Gillan at swbell.net. That's as in Southwestern Bell. So again, it's Lex-Gillan at swbell.net. And I don't need the specific name of the course you did with Lama, just the total number of hours. So from Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche, my first meditation teacher. A true spiritual path is arduous and demanding. Those with doubts should not embark. If you have not started, it's best not to begin. But if you have begun, it's best to finish. So there are two types of meditation. And what I mean by that is every specific technique of meditation, regardless of the lineage that it comes from, will fall under one of these two categories. First, guided visualization, and second, a concentration technique. So in a guided visualization practice, the focal point that you concentrate on changes during the meditation. And in a concentration technique, the focal point that you concentrate on is unchanging. An example would be a mantra where you repeat the same word or sound over and again. Both practices work. The guided visualizations open the heart center, and the concentration techniques quiet the mind. And ideally, we want to have both an open heart and a quiet mind. Three things happen when we meditate. Number one, the mind quiets, slows down. Number two, as the mind quiets, concentration deepens. And number three, as concentration deepens, we begin to hear clearly the message of the heart center. Now, the predicament we're in is we can't hear what the heart is saying if we have a monkey mind. So the practices of meditation simply quiet the mind so we can hear what the heart is telling us to do. All meditation is simply being present, being clear, one-pointed, in the moment. So let's begin first by preparing the breath. Every practice of meditation should be preceded, I think, with controlled breathing. The fastest way to quiet the mind is through the breath. If your breath is quiet and even, your mind will be still and one-pointed. Oftentimes, if you're scattered and frenetic, the breathing is rapid and uneven. And the key to the breathing, two things: full belly breathing, full yogic breathing with a soft belly. And number two, the out breath should be longer than the in breath. Now, if you reverse that and the in breath is longer than the out breath, that will energize you. But you quiet with a longer exhale. So the count that we'll use, we'll do a few rounds of this. The count we'll do will be inhaling to a count of 4 and exhaling to a count of 8. So as we go through this, make sure that on the in breath, you're completely full at the end of the 4 count. And if you're not full, then you end up doing what is called corking the breath, where it's kind of tight and restricted in the throat. So I'll be snapping my fingers. Can you all hear this? Yes? Good. And as we breathe in, let the belly expand out, and on the out breath, physically pull the belly in. And to do this, if you'll sit tall and straight, wherever you're sitting, pulling the waist up out of the hips, pull the rib cage up out of the waist, head is straight away, close the mouth, close the eyes, exhale, breathe out, and empty everything that you have. Just exhale completely. Into 4. Exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. In. Out. Inhale. Breathe out. Breathe in. Out. Keep it going. In. Out. In. Breathe out. In. Last one. Now just allow the breath to assume its natural tide in the body. Just allowing each in-breath and each out-breath to come and go on its own, not forcing the breath at all. Just allow the body to simply breathe itself. And as the breath quiets, notice three things pull you away from the awareness of the breath. First, the sounds that you hear, sound of my voice, and the other sounds you may be aware of. Number two will be any sensation you feel in your body as you sit. Any points of dis-ease. And number three will be all of the myriad thoughts drifting through the mind. And you neither reach toward nor do you push against any sound, any sensation, any thought. Notice how each sound is born into time. It exists. And it dies back into the formless. Sensations arise and pass away. And noting how each thought comes to you uninvited. You have no idea where they come from. And subtle as it may be, each thought is born. It exists and dies. Yet your breath is always with you. and to practice. So if we have any folks that are new to meditation, actually the first practice I've always taught, simply called the monkey mind meditation. And you go through the breathing practice first. Then, after a few minutes, you again let the breath assume its natural tide. With each in-breath, be aware of breathing in. With each out-breath, count back one digit, starting at 100. So it's like Om on the in-breath, 100. Breathing in, 99. Breathing in, 98. And when you forget your number, you begin again at 100. So you get down to like number 72, and suddenly you're in Chicago. You have no idea where you are. So you start again. When Ram Dass was with Trungpa Rinpoche in Boulder opening Naropa Institute, I believe it was in the summer of 1974, they did a 30-day course together on the Bhagavad Gita. One of the retreatants handed Ram Dass this saying: the freer I get, the higher I go. The higher I go, the more I see. The more I see, the less I know. The less I know, the more I'm free. The freer I get, the higher I go. The higher I go, the more I see. The more I see, the less I know. The less I know, the more I'm free. So Shakespeare said, all the world is a stage. All the world is a stage, and so often we get lost in the plot. But you've got to remember, you're the audience as well. So we're going to become the witness, the audience, and this is a Ram Dass guided expansion meditation. So, again, if you'll come to sitting, tall and straight. Pulling the waist up out of your hips, rib cage up out of your waist, head is straight away. Close the eyes, close the mouth. Now, bring to mind, just visualize a tiny being residing in your heart center, sitting as you're sitting. Cross-legged or in a chair. And this being is the size of your thumbnail. And this being is made not of flesh and bone, but instead of pure wisdom, pure peace, pure equanimity and light. It's like a light being, a being of light, an ethereal being. And in your mind's eye, let that being begin to grow in size, expanding outward until its body fills your body. Wherever your head is, its head is. Wherever your leg is, its leg is. Wherever your arm is, its arm is. So now you become a skin covering this being. Now you and this being continue to expand, moving out into the morning sky, above the roof of wherever you are. And your body is sitting over your roof. And your body is so huge, all of the beings on this call are sitting in your belly. And continue to expand outward, moving up into the morning sky, floating now amongst all the planets. And your body is so huge, planet Earth is now sitting in your belly. Continue to grow out, expanding out, allowing the boundaries of your being to move beyond time, beyond form, and allowing the boundaries of your being to dissolve into the formless. Dissolving so there's no inside, there's no outside. There is only light and space. So you move beyond time and beyond form, dissolving into the formless. Now begin to come back into time, back into form, and begin to, in your mind's eye, reduce the size of your being, coming down until in your mind's eye you're floating amongst all of the planets. Planet Earth is once again in your belly. Coming down in size until your body is floating above the roof of your building, wherever you may be. Coming down in size again until your body is sitting on the floor. And all of the beings are in your belly. And you see who you thought you were before you began this practice. And just honoring that being, that ethereal being of pure wisdom, pure peace, equanimity, and light. As that being resides in your heart center. So preparing through the breath to quiet the mind, to prepare the heart center for sitting. I recommend a metta meditation. It's a practice of loving kindness. In this practice, you articulate and you say it aloud. And lots of meditation books have different iterations on the metta meditation. And I can post this later on the Lama site, if you'd like. So it goes like this. You actually say it, you don't think it, but you speak it aloud. May I be happy. May I be peaceful. May I be free from suffering. May no harm come to me. May no problems come to me. May no difficulties come to me. May I always meet with success. May I have the wisdom, courage, and understanding to meet and overcome the inevitable difficulties in life. Then you bless all of your family. May all of my family, and you say each of your family members' names. You articulate them, you say them, you speak them. Be happy, be peaceful, be free from suffering. May no harm come to them. May no problems come to them. May no difficulties come to them. May they always meet with success. May they have the wisdom, courage, and understanding to meet and overcome the inevitable difficulties in life. Next, you bless all of your teachers, and you name your teachers. Next, your friends. May all of my friends be happy, be peaceful, be free from suffering. Next, may all of my enemies, blessing your enemies, be happy, be peaceful, be free from suffering. And the last, the sixth verse. May all sentient beings, seen and unseen, born and to be born, be happy, be peaceful, and be free from suffering. May no harm come to them. May no problems come to them. May no difficulties come to them. May they always meet with success. May they have the wisdom, courage, and understanding to meet and overcome the inevitable difficulties in life. So first, yourself and your family, teachers, friends, enemies, and all sentient beings. From Brother David Stundelrotz to 93-year-old monk, Benedictine monk. Our spiritual path begins and ends with the heart. Our spiritual path begins and ends with the heart. And the longest journey any of us will ever take will be the path from the head to the heart. The longest journey we'll ever take will be from our head to our heart. So Ram Dass was big in mantras, big on mantras. And I remember that month at Lamabag in 1982, we did a number of mantras at that Ram Dass gig. Psalm 43, verse 10. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. And you can shorten it. Be still and know. Be still and know. Or be still. Or simply be. Be. Be still and know that I am God. Another Ram Dass favorite. The power of God is within me. The grace of God surrounds me. The power of God is within me. The grace of God surrounds me. The power of God is within me. The grace of God surrounds me. The power of God is within me. The grace of God surrounds me. The prayer of Jesus. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. The very first mantra I learned from Ram Dass was the expansion mantra. Gate, gate, paragate, parasum gate, bodhi swaha. Gate, gate, G-A-T-E, gate, gate, paragate, P-A-R-A-G-A-T-E, parasum gate, bodhi swaha. Translates as gone, gone beyond, beyond the beyond to the homage. So some mantras are melodic, some are droned out. They have no melody to speak of. This is a droning mantra where you do one round with each breath. So it would go like this. Gate, gate, paragate, parasum gate, bodhi swaha. Gate, gate, paragate, parasum gate, bodhi swaha. Gate, gate, paragate, parasum gate, bodhi swaha. And as you chant it, you visualize your being expanding outward, beyond the beyond. Gone, 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 beyond the beyond to the homage. From a tombstone on Martha's Vineyard. Listen, friend, as you pass by, as you are now, so once was I. As I am now, so you must be. Prepare yourself to follow me. Listen, friend, as you pass by, as you are now, so once was I. As I am now, so you must be. Prepare yourself to follow me. Okay, if you'll come to sitting once again, tall and straight. Now just allow the breath to once again assume its natural tide in the body. And as you sit, you're pulling your waist up out of your hips, the rib cage out of the waist. So your back is somewhat straight. And just take a simple vow to yourself that for the next few minutes, you will hold your body completely still with no movement. So sitting as still as a statue, sitting with strength, sitting with conviction. Sitting in complete stillness. And notice as you sit, while your body is completely still, there is movement with your breath, with each in-breath and each out-breath. And you notice the rising and falling of the belly with each breath that you take. And turning your awareness inward, note the beating of your heart. So now you have the movement of the breath and the movement of your heart muscle. And with the beating of the heart, you have the pulsation of the blood as it's pumped through your body. But most of all, notice the movement of your mind, constant, unending movement. And isn't it interesting that as you sit in stillness, nobody is really still. You have all of this constant movement inside. This is called movement within stillness. Allowing all of that movement to happen within you, honoring it, blessing it. Neither reaching toward nor pushing against any of it. Simply allowing it to be. Allowing your posture, your body, your external body to be still. And your inner being giving it the space in which to be. blessing the movement. So people often ask, I think the most common question I get, how do I know when I have found the right practice of meditation that's good for me? How do I know? And my answer has always been, how do you know when you're in love? You know. So you'll know when you find it. It will speak to you. I mentioned a few books. Just have a couple here beside me. The Gospel of Ramakrishna, oldie but goodie. This is an abridged edition. The unabridged runs about 1,200 pages. I worked with this for about 4 years in my meditation practice. When I first began sitting, I think I worked through about 200 pages in 4 years. Just a good, very inspirational book. I recently reread Thomas Merton's autobiography, The Seven-Story Mountain. I read it honestly 50 years ago, and I just finished rereading it, see if it still had the same impact. And it did. Ram Dass once went to the Arizona desert for a 30-day retreat in a microbus. The only thing he took with him, only reading, Sin Ming, third Chinese patriarch of Zen. It's a little 8-page pamphlet. I'll read you just the opening paragraph. The great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. When love and hate are both absent, everything becomes clear and undisguised. Make the smallest distinction, however, and heaven and earth are set infinitely apart. If you wish to see the truth, then hold no opinions for or against anything. To set up what you like against what you dislike is the disease of the mind. This is back in 1976. You could order it for 25 cents plus postage. Alan Clements, 2512 Haven Road, Virginia Beach, Virginia, 23452. I mentioned I'd talk about some retreat centers, places to go to. Honestly, this is a Lama gig. Just by show of hands, how many of you have been to Lama? Hold your hand up and let me just see with a show of hands. Hold on just a moment, keep up. So perhaps 50%. I don't know if they still say it, but it was said back in the day, living a year at Lama is like living 10 years in India. Is that true, Heather? Spencer? Have you heard that recently? No, Heather?
And Spencer's the expert here. Oh, Varda is also saying yes.
Yeah. A year at Lama is like 10 years in India. It can get intense. All the different traditions are practiced. Correct me if I'm wrong. Mystical Christianity, Sufism, Taoism, Buddhism, all the isms, Native American, sweat lodge, still doing the sweats? Good. I highly recommend it. So, Spencer, either one of you want to give just a short 1 to 2 minute description of Lama?
Lama is an intentional community and a spiritual center, a retreat center. There are people who choose every year to live in the resident community that starts in September and goes for the full year. It's augmented by the summer stewards who come in the summer to help out with the retreats. There is a retreat season from May to September. And as Lex said, many faiths are practiced there. I think what tends to happen is that people, whatever people bring when they come on land, whether as a visitor or as a steward or as a resident, those are the practices that are brought onto the land. And that gets augmented by the various retreats teachers that come in during the summer.
Of course, you're leaving out the best part. It's drop dead beautiful.
Yes.
8,300 feet, right?
86.
Excusez-moi, 8,600 feet. Facilities are just unbelievable. The views are just even better. And I really cannot recommend it enough. It's just, if you want to deepen your practice, you really need to be on the land for an extended period of time.
And for the most part, Lama is off the grid.
Yes, yes. Yes, any questions?
We've had a few people ask the last book that you recommended, Lex.
Yes. So if you have a pencil, this, Sin Sin Ming, it's HSIN, twice. So Sin Sin, HSIN, Ming, MING. And it's Verses on the Faith Mind. And it's a little 8-page pamphlet.
Lex, there was verses on the...
Faith, F-A-I-T-H.
Okay.
Faith Mind. Yes, and it looks like the Zen Center in Sharon Springs, New York, put it out. So their telephone number, 518-284-2670. It's actually 15 cents a copy. That's what it was back in the 70s. 15 cents plus postage. I guess postage was maybe a nickel back then. Anyway. Any other questions?
If you have a question, please, you can type in hand up in the chat box.
Bless you, Gail. So do I do this?
There doesn't appear to be any questions. So there's nothing in the chat box at this point.
No, there's one here.
You got one? Anat has a question.
Not.
Actually, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I just wanted to say when you talked about the view there, that I notice when I'm there that I'm busy, and every time I raise my eyes, it's a different scene because the clouds change and the scenery just changes by the moment. It's truly unbelievable. It's like a surreal, constantly changing view. It's unbelievable. That's all I have to say.
That's the magic of the New Mexico light.
Yeah.
Yes. It's ever changing.
Varda has a question.
Okay, hi. There's two separate ones. One is just that when we began, I had just eaten and I could really feel my stomach. How long do you generally advise after eating before meditating?
There's no time unless you have like a meatloaf sandwich.
Yeah, I had been rushing to eat before I sat down.
Anything light is good. Honestly, when I do my practice, I do it right after breakfast. So, and then, it depends on your state of mind and what you want from it. Some people find that morning sits are better than evening sits. If mind is clear and fresher, and evenings you tend to let go of all the stuff you gathered during the day. But generally, morning meditations tend to be deeper than evenings, but it varies person to person.
Okay, and I just really want this question. Thank you for that. When you did the mantra that was the Lord Jesus, I forget it exactly, about being a sinner and all that. I mean, I know that Maharaji had a relationship, and Ram Dass has referred to Jesus. But when you did that one, I don't know, I was really triggered because that sort of had the old-fashioned words, especially sinner. And so I don't remember Ram Dass speaking about his relationship to Jesus, but can you just say something about that mantra?
Well, yeah. I'll be quite honest with you. I got that from a hermit at Christ in the Desert monastery here in New Mexico, outside of Abiquiu, between Abiquiu and Chama. And, Abiquiu and Chama. It's called Monastery of Christ in the Desert. It's a Benedictine monastery. And long story short, years ago, they had a hermit who lived on the grounds in the hermitage, a stone hermitage. Her name was Ellen. And she lived there for years. It was no electricity, no running water, small. She had a wood-burning fireplace where she cooked her meals, a little cot that she slept on. And then she had a meditation space, and on the wall in front of her, she put all of these icons of Christ. And when you checked into the monastery, there was a note in your cell that said, "Don't talk to Ellen, she's a hermit." I'm paraphrasing what it said. "She's by herself, you'll see her in Mass, but leave her alone." So I've been going there for years, and one day I went up to her and said, "Hey, can I come down and visit?" Broke the code of silence. She said, "Yeah, come on down." And for 12 hours a day, she chanted, "Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner." That was her practice. And her practice was to pray for all of the beings in the world who did not have people to pray for them. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. Blew me away. Pope John Paul II, this is back in the mid-80s, heard about her and invited her to the Vatican to have a private audience with him because she was the first layperson he had ever heard of that had actually undertaken this as a spiritual practice. And the end of the story is she went to Rome. The day she was to have the private audience was the day he was shot. You remember that? Pope John Paul II was shot. Almost died, but he survived. And I don't think she ever met him. But it's a good story. So that's where I got it from.
So it's not.
I have been in retreats with Ram Dass where he has practiced it.
Ram Dass did practice that?
Well, he would give it out as a teaching. Yeah, and we would, he would throw all these different mantras out in one sitting, and that would be one of them.
Okay, I didn't know.
So it's a good Catholic Christian practice.
For those who wish to relate. Okay, thank you.
Ravi?
Good morning. Lex, thank you so much for coming out to do these teachings. I'm meeting you for the first time, and I really enjoyed. It was like a wonderful buffet of meditation approaches and techniques, and I felt just this incredible love of meditation from you. And I'm wondering if you might share with us a story, what it was like falling in love with meditation, or what really inspired you to step both feet into this.
Because I'm a mess. I'm looking at my nephew right next to me on this video screen, and he'll probably agree with that. Well, it has always been part of my yoga practice, and today's yoga is nothing like the yoga from yesteryear. And it was really sacrilege almost to not include the meditation in the yoga classes and teachings. So it really was, I just had it going from the get-go. And it became part of a daily ritual for me. And I don't know, I guess I had an epiphany or an awakening or come to Jesus moment or whatever you want to call it early on, and it just happened to stick. And I still do it because I'm honest to God, I need to do it. And people think I'm a mess now. Just think what I would be like if I didn't do it. So need all the help I can get. That's as straight an answer as I can give you, Robbie. Where are you?
I'm on Lama Mountain. I look out my bedroom window and see the dome, the Lama Dome, about 2 miles away. So I am mesmerized by the sky and nature, and just being on this mountain, I have a connection with nature that I never had living anywhere else.
How long have you been there?
Since 2003.
Nice.
I was a resident for 5 years and had the good fortune to build my own house in the shadow of the dome.
Oh, nice.
About 10 years ago.
Because I know they still have the 6-year rule, right?
7.
7. Oh, okay.
7. They've got a fantastic community now. There's a great group of residents, and there's a wonderful group of summer folks who came up and quarantined and got tested, and they all can't leave, so they're in a pressure cooker, I understand. I can sort of see it a little bit, and every now and again I hear the llama bells on the wind, which is magical.
Magical, yes. Yes. Anything else, Spencer?
Yes, we have a question from Kimberly. She says, what is your favorite memory working with Ram Dass, or something about him you would like to share?
favorite memory. Wow. Honestly, just being in his presence. Extremely powerful. He had this innate gift just to really transmit the spirit one-on-one. And even in groups of hundreds of people, you still felt that transmission. And the last thing I did with him a year or two ago was a Zoom into Houston. And we had a workshop, and his head, we had the blank white wall as the screen, and his head was as big as, I don't know, 5 feet tall. And just the spirit came through the camera. It was just unbelievable. So that's really the strongest impression I have. Always present, always with you, with the group. Indescribable, honestly.
Maybe time for one more question. I don't see anything in the chat box. Was that Chris?
It is. I can't figure out how to how to chat, but I just, if I could share a very quick story about Ram Dass and Lex. 30 years ago, Lex brought Ram Dass into Houston, and I had the task of picking Ram Dass up from the Lancaster Hotel and bringing him to the speaking venue. I think it was at the University of Houston. And I asked him what he thought of the hotel. And he kind of laughed and he said, I enjoy it. Don't tell Lex this, but I prefer the Motel 6 because of the serenity of the white walls. So now I can break my silence after 30 years.
First time I've heard that story, Chris. Thanks for the heads up. I haven't heard that before. Nice.
One thought. Spencer, may I?
Go ahead.
Hi, Lex. Thank you
Hey.
so much. Thank you. It's such a gift. I was just on chat with my brother, Dean, who's been teaching meditation for decades. And I told him we were doing this. And 30 years ago, he was on the mountain with Ram Dass, who gave him advice about his path. So I just wanted to share that.
Nice. Nice.
Yes. Thank you.
I'll think we'll end with that. I don't know, Heather, did you have one more thing, something that you want to close with?
I can close
Just-
it out. I have a closing.
Okay.
So just blessing all of the Lama beings, all of the people that have tuned in this morning, and the Lama Zoom. May each of you be happy, be peaceful, and be free from suffering. May no harm come to you. May no problems come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May you always meet with success. May you have the wisdom, courage, and understanding to meet and overcome the inevitable difficulties in life. God bless you. Thanks for coming. Happy trails. Namaste. Peace. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much, Lex.
You're welcome.